So new series we're running. Still haven't really figured out what the title of this is, but what we're gonna do is take some questions from our hotline. So first question that we kind of ran through was, how many virtual classes should you run per day right now? What would you guys think?
These are coming from affiliate owners, correct? Yes?
Yeah.
All right. So I think the majority of folks are splitting the day in thirds. They're trying to capture the morning community. They're trying to capture like the noon, or if they've had an afternoon community, and then definitely a PM. Have you guys seen any other models that have gone through differently?
No, that's pretty consistent.
Yeah, I think any more than that would be too much.
Yeah, that's at the most. I've seen it split up into morning and like later in the afternoon, like 8, 9 a.m. and then like 3, 4, 5. But I don't think anybody's splitting it up more than morning, afternoon, evening. So
I think the only group I saw do a fourth option was a kids option, and that was like 2 weeks ago. There are now some gyms that are even doing more, but they're not the group environment. They're not doing more CrossFit classes. They're doing specialty classes. So they'll have their CrossFit 3 hours. So like a 9, noon, and 6. And then they'll have one yoga offering, one kids offering, and then one like skills offering. And so those are delegated out to different coaches. So it's not the same coach getting burned having to film 5 or 6 classes a day.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the danger is trying to overproduce things.
Right.
And Nick had a good webinar last week on kind of the different formats and who you're serving and kind of how best to serve them. So,
right.
Having 3 group classes throughout the day services, these specific personas, and then you can kind of supplement with pre-recorded stuff. So I think 3 classes is probably the most
what
optimum.
Works.
Right. Cool. So we got another question. Oh, okay. You got something, Zach?
I was just going to say, is there so have we noticed like a pattern or a trend outside of the scheduling of blocks? Like what would you have done? I don't know if this is risky. Of course it's risky, but like I probably at the very beginning would have put up a poll like saying, hey, let's vote as a membership in my Facebook group. And the 3 most popular times are the ones that are going to get
awarded the time slot. Yeah,
exactly. So
that's probably the easiest and most logical solution is to ask your members.
Yeah.
Right.
Which you should be in communication with your members every day.
I think
exactly.
The only negative feedback I got to the crew that's doing the 9 is that 6 a.m. crew now is left alone until 9. And it was a struggle only until everybody was quarantined. And then now they're home, right? So now it's like, oh, well, hey, now you can do 9. But prior to the quarantine, there were still people, they felt left out because there was nothing for them at 6. And I'm not saying everyone's got to do 6 a.m., but.
Cool.
That makes sense.
So we got another good question here. So what are the best social ads that I can do to keep folks engaged? I think that's going to be a big one that everyone's going to need to start to figure out how to keep people engaged. I mean, this one says the question was specifically social ads.
Right.
So I don't know if that's speaking more to
other than fitness.
Placing ads and then making those just awareness ads, or is it speaking specifically to your members?
Social additions. So it's everything above and beyond the fitness piece. So if you're doing 3 Zoom group workouts a day and then maybe 1 yoga a day, or whatever it is doing, what's above and beyond the fitness component? So are you doing happy hours? Are you doing book clubs or trivia clubs? Are you doing I've even seen gyms doing dance sessions, like
nice.
Even with the kids, like get the kids together and they're doing all kinds of fun games that are not fitness games. So I guess the request was, what other social addition? I mean, maybe it's too soon to tell what are the best ones that have the best traction. But I think your infographic that you posted last week that was color coded red, yellow, maybe it was green and whatever else, you gave like 12 representations of other things you can do. I loved the not like the stump the coach, where it was kind of like a Q&A or trivia. That's a pretty cool one. I know our old gym did one on Sunday night at 5. They actually got a pretty good participation at 5, and they did more of like a resiliency mindset, like accountability group, focus group, where they could help hold each other accountable. That wasn't, do exercise.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that you don't have to overthink,
Right.
because most people are in the same situation right now. You're locked, cooped up at home.
Yep.
What you can do is kind of play to a few major kind of overarching topics, right? You want to be able to challenge people. You want to be able to provide some kind of fun outlet where they can
Right.
kind of disconnect, and almost be distracted from being at home.
Right.
And then some of the recurring kind of problems that everyone has is fitness and nutrition, right? I
Right.
think everyone's so focused on fitness, but the bigger thing is you're chilling at home all day and you're probably snacking on a bunch of things. Maybe we
Right.
should use a segment to talk through this and how to kind of manage that.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
I think there's a lot of ways that you can go about kind of keeping your base socially engaged.
Right.
But I think the equation to this is pick a few things and make it consistent throughout the week.
right. That's what it has to happen. I mean, the communities that are, as expected, all the fitness communities are pushing classes and specialty courses. All the nutrition companies like HSN and Precision Nutrition are pushing nutrition challenges and gamified approaches to keeping their clients accountable through this time. And then the competitive aspect is like running virtual games, like the quarantine games, and the CrossFit Closed, and like all these different things that people are doing to gamify and quantify accountability versus, hey, just do exercise and that's enough. They're layering all these different level of great things. So whichever way you go, it's like you just said, consistency is going to be the most important thing.
Agreed.
Yeah. Cool. I think we have time for one more good question. We have a list of really good questions here. One I think we could dive into is, how do I upsell to more individualized program, and what platform is the best for that? You guys have an experience with individualized programming, on-site or remote?
What platform would be the best for it, but it's something that all coaches at this point should be addressing, is that individual design, individual programming. Eric, you ran a model like that, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's two parts of this that makes it challenging. One is, if you're pivoting from group to individual design right now, you got to bring it, and it can't just be, and I mean, bring it professionally. You can't just deliver. Like, if I'm, quote unquote, selling group exercise to Fuse at $159 a month, and he's getting group exercise, and I tell Zach, oh, hey, at $199 a month, you're going to get individual design, and I'm just delivering more junk group exercise. That's not it. It doesn't work that way. Like, you truly have to individualize it to that person, the equipment they have at their house, their goals, right? Because the key of individualization, why it carries a higher value price point, is you're making it someone else's. So it takes part one is an interview or like a consult. Part two is an explanation of service and explain the longevity of service. And then three, it's the actual delivering on the goods. Like, you got to actually deliver good programming for them. And people will say things like, oh, well, the objections might be dollars, but whatever. Whether you're going to use Train Heroic or you're going to use Trainerize or True Coach or whatever, it just needs to be a platform that can deliver individualized training. It's that easy. But there are some that have been doing it for years, and there are some that are just dabbling in it and trying it right now. But it must start with a consultation. It must start with an assessment, and then you've got to deliver competent programming. You can't just give them more workouts of the day that you stole from some other person's website. That's not individualized.
Right.
I like, so I think people get really caught up in the tech side of this, right? Trying to figure out the best delivery method. Right. And that all is kind of also a factor of scale, right? If you have 100 members and only 50 are interested in individualized programming, then you can probably handle that pretty manually for the time being, to understand, how you're actually servicing them versus just focusing on the delivery and trying to automate everything.
Right.
What I've liked before. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think the nice thing is most of the tech platforms nowadays are offering free during this time. I think True Coach extended their 14-day trial to 28-day trial, and I think Casey even said he'll extend it longer. So if it's a money thing, I would push them to learn how to use this software was designed specifically for delivering custom training. And what people might find out on the back end of this is that's a phenomenal revenue stream for them to continue servicing the clients remotely or, wherever they live. it just takes the place of everything. Email, Excel, Word. You can drop videos, images, documents. The nutrition piece is embedded in there. It's a one-stop shop for actually delivering a competent product. And it's free. It's free, or it's free for a while, 30 days.
So just to follow up a question on this, how would you guys tackle pricing? Would you modify any kind of pricing because everyone's remote? What's the separation between a group kind of one size fits all pricing versus individualized pricing where now they don't even have access to facility? So does that factor into the value that they receive?
Well, the value is the relationship that you bring as a coach. It's your education, it's your experience, it's your ability to solve those problems for them. It doesn't get cheaper because they don't have access to equipment. It gets more expensive because you're now taking your time and hand delivering them a program. That is found out in the assessment. If I'm trying to work with Zach and he says, well, I've got a full gym built in my garage, easy, right? But if you've got a female client who's like, I have access to a jump rope, a yoga mat, and a 10-pound medicine ball that I borrowed from my sister, that you have that to work with. And I use that analogy because that was literally someone yesterday. So you have to figure out what your use is, but you're not getting cheaper than group. It's more expensive than group because it's an upsell into more dedicated, more focused, and more excellent training than the group model.
Yeah. This is where me and Eric will diverge just a little bit on things. I really think it comes, and I read like Chris over at Two Brains, his take on this, and there are just some things that I would want an affiliate owner to take into consideration, and that is like your place in the marketplace. You're no longer offering something on the scheme of locality. Like if you're a physical affiliate gym, you can look at other gyms in your area and base your pricing off the current market. Well, that market has just been expanded to the entire online community. So now you have to look at what you're offering, what you're able to offer, and your expertise in the scope of that. Now, if you're only doing this for your gym members, then yes, it should be an upsell to that relative group pricing. However, if you are now coming into the market as, hey, I'm going to do individual design and online programming for anybody and everyone, then you need to also take in those factors into consideration. It's less overhead for you. It's a little bit more time, but depending on how efficient you are, it may not be that much more time. It really depends on a lot of different things. I know some people that are very successful and deliver very good programming for less than what a gym membership would cost, anywhere from $90 to $130 a month, but it may be less involved than what the coach that's charging $200, $250. So it really just has to be in line with the value that you're providing. And I think Eric
agreed.
On that.
Yeah, no, totally.
Awesome, guys. So we are running over our time today, but thanks for your input. We'll hop back on tomorrow to answer more questions. For anyone watching this, either in real time or on the recording, we did just launch our hotline to submit your questions. 833-GYM-WINS. You got to figure out what those letters mean in the number pad. Or again, just shoot us a message in any channel you can find us. Facebook, Instagram, pushpress.com. Just reach out to us. We really just want to help you guys and get your questions answered. I know there's a lot of uncertainty now. And every one of us is really working as hard as possible to try to get the best answers to the right people at the right time, right? So, thanks, guys. Let's round up again tomorrow, and we'll answer more questions. Cool.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Right on.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.